So we are witnessing the next incarnation of our Duchess of Sussex. In this case, a nerdy mom, and this has a very interesting explanation from a narcissistic perspective that is mirroring that you're about to find out. Welcome back, my Battle Language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Battle Language guy, and well, it so happens that Meghan tried to convey this image that she's a mom, she's a woman that likes Scrabble because well, she's smart, and she said that she grew up being the smart one, not the pretty one. That she plays Wordle because well, I guess she gets around with words and literature and stuff, but I don't think she plays the Wordle actually because she might be very busy checking all her mentions on Twitter, on Tumblr and Reddit, etc. Yeah, you know Meghan. And she also claims to be a fan of Jeopardy, pure intellectual stuff, and every now and then surfing the TV for channels or shows to watch. So basically, she is trying to play the part of being a nerdy mom. Well, this meme comes to mind instantly. Now, why is Meghan doing this at this point? Why this change? All this sudden change of attitude, of tastes. I know that, well, it's nice to know more about her, but all of a sudden we got this playful new Meghan, totally different from what we have seen. And a great explanation to this concept, the concept of mirroring, which is the one that applies in this case, it can be found in this article on the Narcissist Family Files. That's a website. I will post the link in the description so you can check the entire post from Julie L. Hall. But I'm going to read just one fragment of that. Narcissistic mirroring. Mirroring, or reflecting back what others say and do, is a common behavior that many of us engage in, often unconsciously, to create rapport and show feelings of connectedness with others. That's something that we do in a healthy way, as long as it is not in a exaggerated or forced way. We may, for example, adopt another person's or animal's energy level, facial expressions, body language, and tone to show understanding and empathy. People with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, on the other hand, take mirroring to extremes because they lack a stable and sustaining sense of identity and self-worth. Narcissists forever look to external sources for definition and esteem. When they find a prospective or new partner, or in this case, audience, as I'm going to explain this, they study that person and attempt to reflect back their personality, style, interests, and values. If you like going to the gym, gardening, chocolated desserts, and helping at the local animal shelter, so do they. If you have tattoos, suddenly they show up with one too. You can read the rest of this very interesting article in the link in the description of this video. So we all remember when Meghan used to say, well, I want to be an activist, I want to be an philanthropist. Make me that. Let's do some kind of PR trips and take pictures, and that's it. We'll have my headlines, and I can be labeled that way. That was her incarnation back then, and you know that is one of the ways she could connect with Harry, besides other strategies she did along with Soho House and stuff that we still yet to find out the ultimate truth. But this incarnation, this philanthropist, this activist Meghan, served its purpose and she had to move on. And right now she's got she wants to have a broader audience, a global audience that wants to listen to her and be entertained and learn something. So that's why she came up with this podcast, Archetypes. I want to say, I have to say that archetypes in theory, in the paper, you have a very precise topic that, well, sadly, there are not that many stereotypes of women. So I don't know how many episodes could Meghan do about this. There's supposedly a second season coming. Well, let's see how it goes. But she made this in order to, well, cater to a broader audience. Create content. When you create content, you want to, well, balance between two things. Have been focused on a topic and at the same time try to reach the broadest audience possible. Now, those two variables often collide with each other because the more precise the topic, the smaller the niche of audience actually is. So in this case, women's stereotypes is a nice topic because I think every woman has been stereotyped in some way along their lives. The problem is that not all women have suffered the same stereotypes or all the stereotypes at the same time or throughout their lives. That's a hurdle. But even so, she's still aiming at a broader audience than just being a philanthropist or activist. She wants to go mainstream. But it doesn't help that the focus or the angle that she has given her podcast has not worked that well. Because I think not many people have actually a problem with women being ambitious, like in case of Serena Williams, which was the first episode, or well, the episode 2 with Mariah Carey, that Mariah called Meghan diva, and Meghan just took it personal. In fact, in many ways, Mariah was talking about the term diva like it was something fun to be. Something that she actually enjoyed. So it kind of backfired a little. We also had topics like the stigma of the singleton, or women that remain single, which I think in these days is not that much of a stigma given the lack of real men out there. I think more and more women have no problem in staying single for extended periods of time. It's not maybe it's not ideal, but it's better than just being with a jerk. And in the case of the Dragon Lady, starring Margaret Cho, Meghan began talking about Kill Bill and Lucy Liu and all these characters that were created by Quentin Tarantino, and I think she forgot, or maybe she never knew, that Margaret dated Quentin at some point. So, I don't know if that was the best idea. Besides, Lucy Liu was not happy with being called a Dragon Lady back then. That was not by Meghan for the first time, but Meghan should have made her due diligence in these cases. It's like no one is checking the script or no one is checking what is going in these conversations. I think they are sticking to just 1 hour and not going beyond those questions, so you can have more material and then edit that down to 1 hour. That will be a much better approach. I would like to tell you that I remember what was the topic with Constance Wu, but I think it was the women as crazy, women labeled crazy, and I made a video about that and how Meghan totally dropped the ball on that one, and not to mention the latest episode with Paris Hilton when they were talking about the bimbo. Meghan saying that bimbo was a bad thing to be or be called, and Paris saying, I made bank with playing a bimbo. So is it bad or is it good? So I think it was a bit misleading. On a totally unrelated note, when I was looking for this picture of Constance Wu, I stumbled upon a headline that I thought was satire, but no, this is the real thing. Rosario Dawson, Don Chidley, Constance Wu, and more stars urge U.S. Congress to pass a Crown Act prohibiting hair discrimination. Hair discrimination. I mean, what? Maybe it was because of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Maybe it was because of that. We don't know. But this sounds like pressing matters, right? Well, this kind of nonsense and this kind of not problems, I'm addressing them on my third YouTube channel, Pop Dank. You can find Pop Dank in the link in the description of this video too, so you can subscribe to me there, and we can talk about this nonsense and bring some common sense into the world. So both the activist incarnation of Meghan and the arsewives incarnation of Meghan suffer from the same thing. People don't want to be lectured. people find that boring. Okay, you are talking about stereotypes. That is nice, but you are not giving any ideas on how to deal with those stereotypes. Some women have taken advantage of those stereotypes, but in some cases, it's because they have been privileged from other ways that most women can afford. So it's a bit tone deaf at the end. There's no resolution. There's no a great idea at the end. Oh, I learned something that I can use for my life. I enjoy this moment. It's just a conversation. It's nice. That's what a podcast is about. But the conversation should be interesting enough to feel that I learned something. Doesn't have to be a lecture, because people don't want to be lectured. And you know what? People don't want to be lectured, especially from hypocrites. And that reminds me that today, the Daily Mail finally found the 9210 clip where 2 years after Meghan quit Deal or No Deal, she took raunchy cameo giving, head in a car. Meghan Markle has stated that she left her job as a briefcase babe on Deal or No Deal because it made her feel like a bimbo. I didn't like feeling forced to be all looks and little substance, she said. But less than 2 years later, she took a tiny cameo on 9210, where she was seen giving, this oral service in a car to actor Dustin Milligan, who played hunky Ethan Ward. That scene has now resurfaced. It has resurfaced from a long time ago, but it was not until Meghan began to complain about the Deal or No Deal gig that even Whoopi Goldberg slammed her for that. People just added 2 plus 2 and realized, hey, but Meghan did this 2 years after the Deal or No Deal gig. Well, she's been called out for hypocrisy once again. She must have forgotten she was VJ girl in that show after she left her briefcase girl stint due to being objectified, wrote one user. Markle says she didn't want to take on this small role, but felt struggling actresses can't be picky. And that's okay. You can't be picky, but you can't complain down the line about that. You can say, I needed the money at the moment. I needed to just get whatever gig I had at the moment, and I had experience, and that led me to, other opportunities. That will be nice, and that will be. But don't be a hypocrite. Don't say, I was objectified. I was this and that, because no, people, you are going to lose all your credibility, and that is one of the reasons. That is one of the reasons she's being called out for pretending to be a nerdy mom that plays Scrabble, that watches Jeopardy, that learns the language in Duolingo. All that sort of stuff. It's like she's using this mirroring technique to attract a new audience, because they have not realized that Netflix and both Netflix and Spotify must have realized that the current trend of Meghan the activist, or the stereotype exposer, is not cutting it. People are just not interested in that topic, and I don't know how couldn't they do some kind of focus group or some tests or something to realize people were not interested in that. I think they just thought that, it's Meghan. Whatever Meghan says, Meghan will turn to gold. But no, I think it's exactly the opposite. And I'm not talking only about topics. I'm talking also about people. Not to say that Prince Harry was gold before meeting Meghan, but look at this. Prince Harry says growing up in the royal family and then spending 10 years in the military, he never heard the words therapy or coaching. Then the blinkers came off and his life changed. We have said ad nauseam, everybody knows this, that he was on all these mental health initiatives alongside William and Catherine, and he talked to coaches, to therapists, to everyone. It's absurd to say this blatant lie right now. But I think he is just going with what Meghan does, just lying your way to, I can't say the top, because I think it's lying your way into the gutter. So Meghan is like using this narcissistic mirroring technique, not on one person, but on an audience. She is going for the, well, I'm playing Scrabble and Wordle and this and that, just to attract a segment of the population that might be interested in whatever she's going to do next. And that's why, see, she's mentioning all these rom-coms, these romantic comedies. Maybe because she wants to share her romance story with Harry, which I think not many people will be interested either, unless it has, well, some kind of emotional undertones, some kind of a struggle, some kind of I don't know, emotion, storytelling. And we have seen that it has been so hypocritical, so cynical from the start, with all that has been exposed by Tom Bauer and Valentine Lowe and other authors and royal commentators, that how can you pretend to project any kind of magic that way? You can't. You have been exposed, and no matter what you do, you're gonna be exposed publicly again, and that will be further embarrassing for you and a loss of money for Netflix, Spotify, or whichever other company that dares to put some money on the articles. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and until we meet on another video or another live, remember to download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. Two most important words: much love and bliss.